The betrayal of trust, the neighbor's downfall. In a quiet neighborhood where everyone knew each other, lived Mr. Kola, a man known for his charming smile and smooth-talking ways. To his neighbors, he was the perfect gentleman, always ready with a kind word or a helping hand. But behind his charismatic facade, Mr. Kola had a darker side. Mr. Kola's neighbor, Mama Tinu, was a hardworking widow who sold provisions at the local market. She had 2 young children, Tinu and Sei, who were her pride and joy. Despite her struggles, Mama Tinu was generous and trusting, often lending money or items from her shop to those in need, including Mr. Kola. One fateful day, Mr. Kola approached Mama Tinu with a request. He claimed to be in dire need of a loan to fund a business venture that would yield great returns. Mama Tinu, you know I'm good for it, he said with a confident grin. In just a few months, I'll repay you with interest. Think of it as an investment. Mama Tinu hesitated but eventually agreed, trusting Mr. Kola's words. She handed over a substantial portion of her savings, the money she had set aside for her children's school fees. Please don't let me down, Mr. Kola, she said. This money means a lot to my family. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but Mr. Kola made no effort to repay the loan. Instead, he flaunted new clothes and hosted lavish parties, much to the dismay of the neighbors who had witnessed Mama Tinu's kindness. When confronted, Mr. Kola would dismissively say, the business is slow. I'll pay her back soon. As time went on, Mama Tinu's situation worsened. Without the funds to replenish her stock, her shop began to falter. Tinu and Sei had to miss school because their fees remained unpaid. The once vibrant household grew somber, and the neighbors began to whisper about Mr. Kola's betrayal. One day, a community meeting was called. The neighbors, outraged by Mr. Kola's actions, decided it was time to hold him accountable. They invited the local chief and elders to mediate. When Mr. Kola arrived at the meeting, he was visibly uneasy, sensing the collective anger in the room. Mr. Kola, the chief began, we have had troubling reports about your dealings with Mama Tinu. Is it true that you borrowed money from her and have yet to repay it? Mr. Kola attempted to deflect. Chief, I've been meaning to repay her, but times are hard. Business hasn't been as profitable as I expected. The chief's stern gaze silenced him. Hard times do not justify betrayal. You took advantage of a widow's kindness and left her and her children to suffer. This is unacceptable. The community demanded that Mr. Kola repay Mama Tinu immediately. Realizing he could no longer escape accountability, he reluctantly confessed that he had squandered the money on personal indulgences. His admission shocked everyone, and the respect he once commanded evaporated instantly. The chief decreed that Mr. Kola would have to sell some of his belongings to repay the debt. Additionally, he was ordered to publicly apologize to Mama Tinu and her children. Humiliated and disgraced, Mr. Kola stood before the entire neighborhood and admitted his wrongdoing. Mama Tinu, I have wronged you deeply, he said, his voice trembling. I let greed cloud my judgment and betrayed your trust. I am truly sorry for the pain I have caused you and your family. Though the apology did little to ease the hardships Mama Tinu had endured, it marked a turning point. With the money recovered from the sale of Mr. Kola's belongings, she was able to rebuild her shop and send her children back to school. The neighbors rallied around her, offering support and encouragement. As for Mr. Kola, his reputation was irreparably damaged. The once admired neighbor became a cautionary tale of greed and betrayal. He lived the rest of his days in shame, a stark reminder that dishonesty and selfishness lead only to disgrace. The story of Mama Tinu and Mr. Kola became a lesson for the entire community. Kindness should never be exploited, and integrity is the foundation of true respect.